All right, Spencer Sutton here with Clay Collins. We're both with Evernest. Clay is our investor-friendly agent in the office in Birmingham, and we're out here looking at this house, and we really want to answer the question, should you buy this house? Or if you were going to buy this house, what are the things that you should consider? Now, Clay, talk to us a little bit about where we are, because when I drove up, I noticed some things like pride of ownership in the neighborhood. It's a quiet place. What else do you
Of course, yeah. So we're over here on Pike Avenue, just a quiet suburb called Minor, right outside of downtown Birmingham. As you can tell if you look around, you know, we got some good pride of ownership here. We're just outside downtown where we're not too far away, you know, out in rural parts, but we still have a lot of renters here that want to commute to downtown or other parts of Birmingham as well. So quiet little suburb. If you're looking for, you know, quality tenant that's going to take care of your home, this is probably a good area for you.
One of the great things about Birmingham is, even though Clay said people want to commute into Birmingham, you're an out-of-state investor, you're in California, you're somewhere, you don't need to think Atlanta. It doesn't take an hour to 2 hours to commute into town. It literally is 15 minutes away.
I was about to say our office is only 15 minutes from here.
Yeah.
You know, got to hop on the interstate, but it's super quick. So whether you are working at a job out in Minor or you need to commute to Birmingham, or even the opposite side of Birmingham, you know, more towards the east side, at max, it'd probably take you 30 minutes to get there.
At max. And I think as for an investor, these are the things you need to be thinking about. In this area, not just Minor, but we passed Inslee, we're on the western side of Birmingham. The things you need to be thinking about are, like, it's kind of street to street sometimes. Out here it's probably less street to street, but you do need to know the street. You need to make sure that there's pride of ownership in the houses around. Like, I'm looking around and it's very quiet. There's not loitering going on. People are at work. So these are the types of things you want to see as an investor. Now, what are some things that we're going to have to consider as we go look at the house? Well, we're going to have to consider that this house is an older house. It was built in 1930. So that means that there's going to be more maintenance in the upkeep when you have a resident living in there, but it's actually not in horrible shape. It's in decent shape. This property just had a resident move out, and so we're going to go in and walk through the house. We're just going to kind of walk bedroom through bedroom. We do know a couple things about the house. What was it rented for just previously?
Previously rented for $1,200 a month. Tenant was in here for just a little bit over a year and decided, you know, needed to move elsewhere. So now we have to, you know, possibly the owner could re-rent it for, you know, $1,200 again, do the turn themselves, or possibly look at selling this to a new investor who could come in, add some equity, and get a new tenant in place.
Yeah, so just walking around the outside, I noticed the roof looks really, really good. There's no leaks inside that I saw on the ceilings, and also the HVAC looks brand new. So that's those are two big things. Those are two big CapEx expenditures that investors don't like to spend money on, but they look good. So let's go on inside the house and take a look at what we got. Something to notice as we're walking through the house, just because it's an older house, I do want to say some of the floors are a little bit uneven, but that's what you get with a house built in 1930.
For sure. No matter, even if you want to redo the flooring, you know, redo the paint, there's going to be things about an old home that are going to stay with it, and that's also part of the character that these kind of homes add.
As we'll see here, there's things that need to be fixed or resident-related damage, and then there's other just kind of normal wear and tear. But I think the thing that investors need to remember is anytime a resident moves out, you're going to have to spend money. And so the goal is to keep a resident in as long as you possibly can. If you can keep a resident in there for 5 or 6 years, that's how you actually make money in this business. You don't make money turning a tenant every 12 months.
For sure. You know, ideally when you're, you know, purchasing either with another agent or one of our investor agents, we'll kind of steer you into places like this where ideally these tenants, you know, they want to stay for a long time. There's, you know, pretty good school systems. They want their kids to stay in it, have their friends around the corner. So if you can keep that same tenant in here for about 5 to 6 years, it's going to eliminate your turns. It's going to be able to steadily increase that rent and in turn more cash flow for you.
So really, when we just walked into the main living area, I mean, honestly, I would say the house is in pretty decent shape. There's definitely work that needs to be done, but it's not trashed.
Of course, definitely not rent ready. Anytime a tenant moves out, you should prepare yourself. A couple $1,000s, repair the damages. Make sure, you know, if you do have a security deposit, the possibility of that coming out of that portion. But you know, not too much here. Really, just simple tenant wear and tear. Mounted TVs, holes in the walls, simple fixes, paint, get it rent ready again.
The flooring is okay. It's been redone relatively recently. However, there are some like holes in the floor, some different problems with it that's gonna have to be repaired. The walls are all going to need to be painted, especially if you're renting Section 8. This is a Section 8 area. So if you're an investor and you like Section 8, I think kind of if you're a Section 8 investor, you're probably thinking of spending a little bit more money, right?
For sure, might as well go ahead and spend a little bit more money. Don't have to worry about those Section 8 inspections year to year. Go ahead and get it up to a level that's gonna satisfy them, also satisfy your tenant. That way they wanna take care of it for you.
Yeah. So we're in the kitchen right now. I say the kitchen probably, there's a little bit of work that needs to be done here. I don't know if you don't need all new cabinets and the countertops are okay. What are you thinking here, Clay?
Yeah, for this kind of area, you know, especially if you're going towards more of a Section 8 tenant, you don't need to have the stainless steel appliances, granite countertops. As long as everything's functional, looks nice from the outside, that's gonna be about the standard we wanna get it to. So you definitely have the opportunity to upgrade some things, such as this countertop over here, but you don't have to. That's not something that's gonna, you know, fail a Section 8 inspection, but it could help you get a little bit more in rent each year. Maybe you don't have to replace it down the line as well.
Yeah, I think the mindset is, I want somebody to come in this home and say, I have to rent this house. Again, it doesn't have to be stainless steel, but it does need to look nice because there's going to be competition. You know, back, I think probably in 2020, 2021, it was a feeding frenzy for leasing houses, but now we're getting back to kind of normal levels. Here we are in 2024. You've got to make your house look nice, stand out maybe from the competition, but you can do that in this house.
For sure, and I think even a simple way to do this that I'm checking out in this kitchen is just having a good standard backsplash there. It's not much, not gonna cost you a lot, probably gonna last a long time. Simple cleaning will make it, you know, brighten up the kitchen a little bit without you spending that extra money, you know, redoing the whole countertops, new sink, new cabinetry, whatever it may be. Just simple little things like that are gonna add value to the tenant, make them care about the property a little bit more.
We're in the hallway, but just an example of something that you are gonna charge the resident for is if they don't take all their junk or all their stuff, I don't want to call it junk, if they don't take all their stuff and you have to get it out of the house, as a property management company, we would charge the resident out of the security deposit to do that, completely clean the house out. So that's something that would be the responsibility of the resident.
For sure, and it's not something that's uncommon. A lot of these homes, you know, tenants are trying to get out pretty quickly. They're gonna do their best to get stuff cleaned up, but maybe they don't have access to a truck or a large car where they can load this stuff up. They leave it, they'll come out of their deposit, we'll get it out for you. We can renovate the rest of the property, get it rented pretty quickly.
So the bathroom's not too bad. I mean, it's got a decent backsplash here, you know. I don't think this is too bad. Would you put a new vanity or anything here, or just leave it as is?
Sometimes I do see, especially in homes that have one bathroom, they do prefer a larger vanity. That way, you know, whether they have some kids or some other people all sharing one bathroom, they all have a place for their supplies there. So that's a possibility, but with the size of the bathroom, not too sure I would go ahead and spend the money on that.
I don't know if you have the room for a bigger vanity. What are you gonna do?
We might be able to put a vanity in the tub, but that's about it. But overall, Spencer and I, we were pretty pleased with this kind of bathroom. You know, it's very simple, very standard, not given too much, but for, you know, the rent, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, $1,200, this is something to expect.
Yeah, and again, this is a 1930s house, so these are small bathrooms. This is what they built back then, and they usually in 1930s were only putting 1 bathroom in houses. Like, who in the world needed their own bathroom? Well, it's just that the whole family share it. So, all right, this is probably the best room in the house because the sun's coming in, it's brightened it up. This is a good fixture right here. The only downside to this house, and this is one of your 3 bedrooms, the only downside to this house, if you're renting Section 8, is there's no closet, and you have to have a closet.
Correct. You got to have a window, got to have a closet to hit Section 8 standards. And really, to even clarify it as a full bedroom, it does need that closet as well. So if you are privately renting, it might not hurt the resident, to not have a closet in one room, but that is one thing to consider. If we were going to do a Section 8 tenant here and we were going to manage this property, we would really need to look into the renovation of adding a closet if possible to make this a full 3-bedroom, 1 bath.
Yeah, and it doesn't take all that much, but you'd probably just do it right here in the corner, just a little wall with a door, and that's a closet. Anything you can put clothes in or hang something up in, that's good enough. And as we pass through, we're in another bedroom, and as you can see, this has a pretty nice sized closet here, and this bedroom even has a fireplace. But just like in any one of these houses that was built in the 1930s, you want to seal these things up. You want to cap these things off. You don't want anybody burning any fires. The chimneys have not been cleaned in decades, and the whole house would burn down. So cap all those off.
For sure, go ahead and cap those off. Don't want to have to deal with any liability. Might as well just go ahead and protect you also from some outdoor critters. But as you can see in this bedroom, actually, we do have 2 closets here. So maybe we could just move on over to that other room. But this is pretty standard right here. This is what we would want, all bedrooms to look like. You got your closet, got 2 windows, and access to a hallway here for easy entry.
Something I think maybe you're seeing this on film, I don't know, but the house is a little crooked. And that's the settling of the house built in 1930. There's nothing you can do about it. And it would be way too expensive to do a bunch of foundation work. But I'm just looking around this house, and like the trim needs to be painted, the doors have to be cleaned up. So there's some painting and some cleaning up, and then some replacement that needs to be done in the house.
Right, and any investor that's looking at this is what we would kind of classify as TLC. Just kind of, paint, clean the trim up, make sure it's presentable when that tenant does walk in, or potential tenant, that they're very pleased with everything, the way it looks. They don't have to do anything themselves. They can move on in with their whole family.
Yep. So Clay and I are back in the office. We just finished walking that property. You saw what we saw. So Clay, why don't we just talk a little bit about the numbers? Because the whole point of this video is to say, hey, should you buy this property or not? Now, I do want to say, it's like people have different goals, different targets that they're trying to hit with property. So let's walk through the numbers and then let people decide if it's something that they should potentially look into.
For sure. So first off, the asking price on that property was $100,000.
Okay.
As we talked about earlier, when we were actually at the property, it was previously rented for $1,200.
Gotcha.
More conservative market rent for the area is anywhere between $1,000 and $1,100, I would say. Would rather be conservative and still have the numbers work, rather than be very aggressive and us not get a tenant for $1,200. So
yeah, let me say something real quick about that. What we're seeing in the market, it's 2024 right now, in February, moving into March. What we're seeing in the market is a little bit of softening in the market, in the rental market,
yes,
right?
For sure.
Because you've got supply is catching up with demand. So I would say over 2020, 21, and parts of 22, it was gangbusters. Like the rents were going high. So I like that point of just being more conservative, thinking around $1,000 to see if the numbers work for you.
Of course. So in line with that as well, you need to take into account your renovation budget. As you saw, we had a tenant in place. They moved out. There's definitely some work that needs to be done. So we're going to estimate on that property anywhere from about $10,000 to $15,000 of what we would call TLC to get that property rent ready, where we can go ahead and have the tenant move right in. So you're looking at about $100,000 purchase price, $10,000 to $15,000 renovation, depending what all you do. There's obviously other ways where you could take that to another level. And then after all said and done, your ARV is going to be somewhere around 120, 125 for that area.
All right, so those are the numbers. And Clay, if somebody was interested and wanted to learn more about this property or wanted to talk to you, maybe even about other properties, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
For sure. So you can contact me directly to my cell phone. My number is 205-563-3054, or you can shoot me an email at ccollins@evernest.co. And even if this property isn't one that works for you, we have many other listings, all different price ranges, all different kind of strategies.
Yeah, and I would say if you like this video, if you want to see more of these types of videos where we're actually going and looking at houses and giving you an in-depth view of how we see properties, just make a comment below and we'd love to do that because it's actually kind of fun.
For sure, yeah, it was great getting to go out there and really show the investors what they're getting into here in Birmingham.
All right, good deal. Well, thanks, Clay, and go ahead and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this.